So Tuesday is a much anticipated day in India and worldwide. It's the day when we'll finally get to know the outcome of the world's largest democratic exercise. However, on Saturday, after the end of polling in the seventh and final phase of the elections, over a dozen exit poll results hit the news networks, and all of them gave a more than comfortable majority to Prime Minister Narendra Modi-led BJP and its allies, making up the NDA, stirring much debate. Take a look.
All the heat and dust of the electioneering ended on Saturday with the seventh and final phase of polling in India for its national elections. Counting of votes is to take place on Tuesday, but Saturday evening saw a flurry of exit poll results being beamed by different Indian news networks. All gave a resounding third term to India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi. News network after news network came up with near unanimous figures. 11 exit pollsters forecast that PM Modi's BJP and its allies would win anywhere from 350 to 380 seats out of the 540 in the Lok Sabha, the lower house of the Indian Parliament. 3 of these exit polls even took the NDA alliance beyond the 400 seats mark, which was the declared election war cry of the BJP in these polls. Only one, conducted by TV9 Bharat Varsh, gave the NDA less than 350 seats, but still much more than the 272 required to form a government. Averaging of all the data churned out by the different pollsters brought forth the poll of polls, which have the NDA at 365, the India Alliance 146, and others at 32 seats. Exit polls can sometimes go wrong, but their near unanimity this time around stands out. However, the opposition refused to give exit polls any credence ahead of the actual results, evoking ridicule from the BJP and pollsters alike.
इसका नाम एग्जिट पोल नहीं है, इसका नाम मोदी मीडिया पोल है। ये मोदी जी का पोल है, फैंटेसी पोल है उनका। थैंक यू।
The Congress party obviously doesn't know its arithmetic. Even if they add all the digits that they're talking about, that will not be their tally. The Bharatiya Janata Party is on its way to victory under the leadership of Prime Minister Modi. The way his schemes have percolated down to the poorest of poor, one thing is apparent: Jo jeeta wohi Sikandar, but the jeet is clearly that of Narendra Modi ji.
Politicians are free to say whatever they wish to say. They can say that they are fantasy polls of Mr. Modi. But when our exit polls were showing Congress is winning in Karnataka, when our trackers and everybody was showing that Congress is winning in Telangana, or for that matter, even if you count other India Alliance partner, West Bengal, Delhi, Punjab, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, and so on and so forth, whenever we were saying that they are leading and they are winning, were we fantasy polls of Rahul Gandhi? Were we fantasy polls of Arvind Kejriwal, fantasy poll of Mamata Banerjee or Stalin?
Exit polls always stir up a debate, whether they give a clear or a jumbled up verdict. But their shelf life remains short, and it's the actual election results that matter. Counting day on Tuesday is not far, and we'll soon find out who stands where. Bureau Report, DD India.
Now, Chinese daily tabloid The Global Times has covered the predictions of several exit polls by Indian media outlets. In an article, the publication said that if India can work together with China in the next term of the Prime Minister, it could pave the way for improvements in the relationship between the two countries. The article said India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi is likely to win a third consecutive term in office. Chinese experts noted that Modi's overall domestic and foreign policies will maintain continuity. It added that the Prime Minister is expected to persist in his efforts to bolster the country's economic growth. Analysts emphasize the importance of India collaborating with China to uphold open communication to address differences in the bilateral relations. It said Modi will continue to focus on propelling the country toward becoming the world's third largest economy. Additionally, Modi's strategic approach includes enhancing India's global influence through diplomatic channels. Regarding China-India relations, the possibility of a strengthened confrontation between China and India is unlikely if Modi wins. The Chinese side has been committed to actively enhancing relations with India, believing that maintaining stable bilateral ties are in the interests of both sides. It is imperative for India to uphold the strategic perspective towards China-India relations and collaborate with China to resolve differences through dialogue and communication. This was the gist of the article. Now, the German Foreign Office has congratulated Indians for successfully conducting the world's largest democratic elections. It said that Germany is looking forward to working with India's new government and taking cooperation to the next level. In a post on social media platform X, the German Foreign Office stated, and I quote the office, "Congratulations to the Indian people for successfully concluding the world's largest democratic elections. We are looking forward to working with India's new government and to taking our cooperation with India to the next level." On similar lines, Nigerian Minister of Foreign Affairs Yusuf Maitama Tugar also congratulated the people of India and the External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar for exemplifying their status as the world's bastion of democracy. In a post on X, Yusuf Maitama Tugar stated, "Congratulations to the people of India and Dr. S. Jaishankar for exemplifying their status as the world's bastion of democracy. This historic election, which lasted 44 days, was the largest ever in history, with more than 968 million eligible voters out of a population of 1.4 billion. As the largest democracy in Africa, we join you in championing democracy, which is a key pillar of our 4Ds foreign policy agenda. Congratulations once again on a successful electoral season." So the exit polls of India's general election have propelled the Indian stock markets to record highs on Monday. All 13 sectoral indices were in the green, while financial services, oil and gas and the power sectors led the rally on Nifty. The BSE Sensex was up 2,507 points as it hit a fresh closing high of 76,469. Nifty 50 also hit an all-time high of 23,264. And let's now connect with Foreign Affairs expert Atul Aneja. Atulji is editor India Narrative. Welcome, sir, to the program. Up first, a generic question. Historically, how accurate have exit polls been in our country?
It's been a mixed approach, but over time, the quality of exit polls has been improving. And of late, we find that they're fairly accurate. There is a margin of error, but there's no gross sort of deviation from the exact polls which come from there. So in this particular case, I think there is a consensus which has been built up. All exit polls are showing almost a similar kind of a variation in terms of who's going to be the winner of this election. So I think quality of exit polls has also been improving over time, and this time the reliability factor seems to be more than the times before.
Okay. And now most exit polls have predicted a thumping win for the BJP. If that indeed happens, and we will know tomorrow, what would you say would be the primary factors behind BJP's victory?
Well, I think one has to take a holistic view here. In the last 10 years, what one has witnessed is the rise of India, and whether it's in the field of economy, whether it's in terms of infrastructure building, in terms of counter-terror, in terms of foreign policy, culminating in the G20 summit, India being in a position of leadership for the global South. The handling of the COVID, which took place, so it's a variety of factors, and also the rethinking of India as a civilizational state, foundationally as a civilizational state. I think all these factors have got together and brought this success. First, and finally, the personality of the Prime Minister, whether you like him or not, nobody can deny the way he campaigned during this and earlier polls as well. In the heat, going through, I think, 206 rallies, it's not a joke. I mean, it does create a dent in people's psyche of a commitment of a leader. And I think all these factors, including the personality factor of the Prime Minister, went all together and built this chemistry, which seems to have led to this fantastic result. Again, Tanvi, we are waiting for the final results tomorrow. But as I said earlier,
indeed, Atulji, we all wait for results tomorrow. But again, if the exit polls hold true, where would you say the opposition parties have failed?
Have failed, okay. I think this is a new India which has emerged. and the psyche of the people has changed. It's not an elitist India anymore. I mean, it's not India which lives just in the cities. I think that the B cities and towns are playing a much bigger role now in terms of giving India a direction. So I think the parties, the opposition parties, have yet to get the pulse of the new India, especially the aspirations of the youth, and the poor. Because after all, when we had COVID out here, there was, through banking channels, outreach to the poorest of the poor. I think they also could not fathom the role of women and how decisive women are in terms of politics today and in the election of a new government. I think they missed the bus completely. The new paradigm was not caught on. And, over reliance on social media, which was a skillful campaign. I think the opposition did a very skillful social media campaign. But, you need an organization, you need those foot soldiers all across the country, that network, and most importantly, catching the pulse of a new, young, and aspirational India. I think that's where they miss the bus. There is a big gap between the way the real India thinks and the way some of these opposition parties thought. So that disconnect is very much reflected. Apart from the fact that, the BJP and the NDA, the campaigning was far more robust and on the ground rather than just on the social media. So I think the contrast was pretty clear. There's a core constituency now which supports the BJP and the NDA. And whatever may be the circumstances, how sleek your campaign may be, I think that consolidation is also a major factor, which that base is very important and which will get you through whatever be the situation. The margin may vary here and there. I think the opposition does not have that kind of a assured base as of now. Okay. And that's the difference which gets reflected in these numbers, again, assuming that this exit poll numbers are real numbers.
Yeah, we'll have to see and wait till tomorrow. On the financial front, sir, the Indian stock market saw a huge rally today with the Sensex and the Nifty surging over 3% each. Why the market euphoria?
Stability and assurance that India is in the right direction. I mean, we are already a $3 trillion economy, and the Prime Minister has made it very clear that we'll very soon be a $5 trillion economy. And coupled with that is the concept of Viksit Bharat, that we are on track to become a developed country by 2047. So there's a clear-cut vision, there are clear policies, and I think most importantly is that what last 10 years have done is given credibility. That what you say, you deliver, and what you do. I think all these factors and the factor of political stability now for the next 5 years at least, I think all these factors have gone together to give a big thumbs up by the markets to the exit poll results.
Would you say, Atulji, that this is a good time for those retail investors who have been left out of the stock market rally to put in some money into stocks?
I think they should. And tomorrow, they may regret if they haven't put it today because, if the exit poll results come true, then we'll see a further rally. I suspect that would be the case. And then you would have missed the bus.
Okay. Atulji, Prime Minister Narendra Modi penned his thoughts in an editorial, and this editorial was published in several dailies, Indian dailies today, where he wrote that Bharat cannot limit reform to just economic reforms, but must move forward in every aspect of life. So a comment about Prime Minister's breadth of vision revealed by the statement.
You see, their economic reforms started in 1991, and they were pursued consistently. But I think along with that, what we need is also bureaucratic reforms. If a new India is to rise and it's to grow by 10% or more, you need a far agile, nimble, and a responsive bureaucracy. I think that's one reform which needs to come. There needs to be some political reforms as well. So I think what the Prime Minister is saying is that if India is to leapfrog into a developed nation, then you will have to make these revolutionary steps and align it with the needs of the hour. So I think this is a signal that big changes are expected in the next 5 years to put India really on track to the developed league. And I think the political will is there. And Prime Minister's own write-up is indicating to that will. I think they've thought through a roadmap or how to go about it.
Yeah.
And that seems to be the case. And so big changes
Okay.
across 360-degree changes, Tanvi.
Okay, we'll have to wait till tomorrow though. Thank you very much Atula Neeju ji for joining us on DD India News Hour.